Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Ropes, Episode 4, Wrestlemania Preview Show. I'm Brett Swinney. Alongside of me is KO Kyle Owens and Brandon Ogden. Just freshly offed his inked contract. We have officially signed Brandon on the show. Congratulations to Brandon. Kyle, can we get some applause?
Absolutely, I got you.
Well, since we signed Brandon, Kyle, I was like, wait, we need something special. We need a surprise appearance on the show.
Absolutely.
And we've already had that. So we actually got another guest on the show. Mr. Jeremy Hubbard's going to join us today.
Man, filling Brandon shoes, that's going to be tough.
Well, how's it going? First of all, how's it going, fellas?
I'm great, man. It's WrestleMania season. It's WrestleMania this weekend. I'm pumped up for it. I think it's going to be a really good show.
I was going to work this weekend. Oh, no, that's not a good one.
Listen, I can still watch it. All right.
You'll have every TV in the station on WrestleMania.
Yes, probably. And may put it even on the big wall, maybe the big monitor in the studio, and just watch it there.
Go accidentally put it on KLTV and
oops,
instead of hockey on Saturday night.
That's probably a lawsuit, by the way.
Yeah.
That rebroadcast thing, they take that serious, I think.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just watch it on one computer, and that's
that's okay. So any thoughts, I guess, before we get to the WrestleMania card? Let's talk about things that have kind of come up to WrestleMania that y'all want to hit first. Anything that sticks out to you guys? Like we got storylines that are coming into Mania. Anything that you guys want to hit before we actually talk about the card itself?
I was just sitting there thinking a minute ago before it came on the air, it's one of those things to where I wish WWE could keep this excitement going the whole year, right? Like they do a wonderful job in these few months from January to April. But man, sometimes it's hard to watch, right? In September and October. And man, if they could just keep this going, I know Brandon and I have met up at an AEW event back in December, and it's almost like that's just the time where you look at other things, right? Because the WWE lull just happens, and they've done a really good job again. I just hope they can keep some of this momentum going with some of these stories. I mean, it's been the slow build, right? I know we'll talk about this, but the slow build with Sammy and Kevin and the Usos and the Bloodline, that whole thing has been great, and they've done a great job with that. And can they just prove Triple H as he's going forward that he can keep doing that? If they can, then it's must-watch TV the whole year long, truthfully. And I think that's the thing going into it for me is what a great job they've done of telling the stories up until this point.
Yeah, the Bloodline's definitely been the story of the year for WWE, and as well it should be. And then the KO and Sammy situation branching off from that, it's just that's been definitely the biggest storyline. But I think ones that kind of get overlooked, Finn Balor and Edge have been feuding for what seems like forever, and that they're finally going Hell in a Cell with their alter egos, if you will. So I think it's going to be that type of feud I'm ready to blow off, and the Mysterios, Dom and Ray finally going at it. There's a lot of storylines.
That one was a build, Kyle. That Ray and Dominic one was like every week you're like, okay, this is the week. Okay,
yes.
This is the week. And then when you found out the mom and the sister were going to be in this, and it's like, oh, that's got to be it. That's got to be when it happens, and that's what did it for Ray. That one's going to be. I think as much as you can look forward to a Dominic Mysterio match, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, the heel turn definitely was good for him. He's got that Eddie Guerrero vibe, which I like as a heel character. They've done a really good job with him. Of course, Rhea I think carries that group, and she'll have her own opportunity, as we'll talk about. But something that I'm interested to see how it turned and how they can do it is what happens with the big match after the big match. Can they keep that momentum going and that's something that AEW does a good job of is, they'll end one feud and they'll be able to spin it right to another one and get that build. Can WWE use the momentum of the Bloodline feud? And Jeremy's not convinced, I don't think, that can they spin it into something that's past Mania?
Well, there's two things about it. Two reasons why they can't. They've done such a great job with this story, right? Like, what is next that tells a better story? And you're right. I think AEW does that better. But the other thing is, who is that next person, right? Like, if you believe the reports, Roman's going to be out for a while when this is all said and done. who's the next guy that steps in there? I don't think they have that guy anymore. Now, they may build one, right? But as of right now, the Raw after WrestleMania, which is always such a big deal, like who could they bring in that sets you up for that now? And if they don't, which they don't have that guy, so we're probably looking at a boring summer, right? But I just don't know who they can bring in that does that. Is it if Jay White were to come back on Monday night, does that move the needle for some guys with Cody Rhodes? I don't think so. But is it personally, if they get Randy to come back, if Orton's ready soon, Orton and Rhodes would be a good, a revisit of what they've done. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for them to do that with what they've done with that storyline. Obviously, I don't even think that. I mean, can they turn KO against Sammy already? I don't know. I don't know if that, but that's not going to be for the title picture. And so I don't know. I think they've done such a great job with this one. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I agree. All right, y'all ready to talk about the card? Let's preview this card. Now, I will say they haven't really, in some of these matches, they haven't really told you where they're going to go yet with them as far as night 1, night 2. Here's what I have offline, and we'll start with night 1. We know the opening match. It's going to be Austin Theory versus John Cena. Now, I'm looking for this just because I'm a John Cena guy. I like John Cena. The promo he cut on Theory a few weeks ago, I was like, man, I miss Cena. They don't have anybody that can cut a promo like Cena. I mean, it's just like he was just ripping Theory to shreds. Like, I really didn't get the whole empty arena promo this week. I was kind of like, are we back in the COVID days? Because this is what I feel like. Like, it was a flashback of empty arena promos, which, not a fan. But, I'm looking for this match. John Cena always puts over a good match, and I think he's probably going to put over Austin Theory here. I don't see him unless he's going to stick around. If it was a non-title match, I could see maybe him winning, then maybe Theory gets him back. But right here, I just don't see Cena winning since it's for a belt, unless it was the world title to get to that 17th. Then I could see that. But since it's the U.S. title, I think Theory cheats, lies, cheat, steals, whatever he has to do, and picks up the win here, guys. What do y'all think?
I mean, I've really liked the build up to this match. I know it hasn't been much, but you kind of knew WWE was planting seeds with Theory, saying he's the champ and, all this John Cena type stuff that Theory had been saying. So you kind of knew where they were headed with this match. You're right. Cena destroyed Theory in a promo a couple of weeks ago, but I'm different than you, Brett. I like the empty arena vibe that Austin Theory, he's super young. We forget he's still young, and he is very good on the microphone as well. So I really like the Theory promo. I think that I heard a theory, no pun intended. I heard a theory today, though, that I kind of liked where Randy Orton had that legend killer gimmick at one time. Maybe Austin Theory, kind of the legend killer, kind of taking that over. If he knocks off John Cena, maybe you set him up with a feud with Edge later down the line. He knocks him off, kind of taking off the legends, kind of like Randy Orton did. I could see Theory kind of going that route. I think it's going to be an outstanding match. It's going to kick off Mania in the right way, and I think I'm looking forward to it. And I think Theory wins as well and retains. I don't think they're going to give the belt to Cena when he's not going to be there. So Theory retains, but it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle there. I think this is gonna be a good chance to, because Theory kind of fizzled out a little bit when because he had the Money in the Bank. He's gonna go for the main title. Then hey, it's not gonna work out, so we're gonna put the U.S. title back on him. He kind of fizzled out a little bit. Now John Cena's kind of revitalizing him a little bit, and this could give him another push until they figure out get him to that next year. And
another one of my favorite. He's been in a couple of my favorite promos. The other one was the Roman Reigns promo, right after Vince McMahon was removed, and Daddy's not here anymore. That was incredible. But he's been. I think that was part of the deal. Like when Vince left, you could tell his push went down, like you said, Brandon. But they've done a really good job of building him back up, and this obviously would give him a push. Went over one of the all-time greats, probably in my opinion the greatest. Like he carried WWE for 10 years pretty much on his back. Like what Roman Reigns has done his last 3+ years, Cena did for 10. And he was the man. And that was, so, and he didn't take breaks like Reigns. Now I know Cena takes breaks now, but he was there night in, night out for 10 years and carrying the company. So I mean, that's how big a win this would be for Theory.
Well, if he wins this, I mean, think about the third of the year he's had, where he would have the win over Seth and Bobby to win the title back in the triple threat. Then the Elimination Chamber, basically beating 5 guys. And then if he beats Cena at Mania, that's a heck of a start to the year. Like that's a really good year. You just got to keep it going.
Kyle, you mentioned the guy's really young, right? But he's pretty experienced. This dude did it on the indie level for so long. I think, of course, Cena's going to put him over. I think that's what Cena's contribution to the company is going to be going forward, is to put guys like Theory over. Sorry, Austin Theory, got his name back whenever that happened, but he did. But, the other thing about it, too, think about this, and I was just thinking about it while we were talking. Think about the timing of the match. They announced early on it's match 1 of night 1. And does that give them the wiggle room to let Cena win on the first night and come back? I mean, we've seen them do things like that before. And I think this is a different Mania where there's not going to be the high level of surprise that maybe we've had in the past. I think that, like the card said, I don't think there's anybody, do you get Orton back? Does Bray make it back? I don't think so. I don't think either one of those two are going to happen. But so is the surprise that Cena wins and then maybe they go at it again on night 2? Is that somebody else comes in and takes it from Cena to start a feud with Austin Theory? So I think there's some wiggle room there. But when I went through this card, making a list of the 6 titles up for grabs, I think this is one that stays with. I mean, the safe play is to keep it with Austin Theory, let Cena put him over, and I think that's what will happen. But I do think there is, in the back of your mind, you got to keep that there. Expect the unexpected. That could be the case potentially.
Yeah, I do remember a report saying that there was going to be twists and turns at Mania, and that may be, I didn't even think about that, about it being the first match, how they could run it back the second night, essentially. I've also heard that, trying to maybe set up a feud with somebody else with taking the belt off Cena and put somebody else over. But I think Theory still needs to be the champion right now. I think he's done a good job at being the champion. He's been a fighting champion. He's been out there, had open challenges. He's fought to keep that title, and I think it's a little too soon to take it off of him.
He needs the belt right now. He needs it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
credibility for him.
Yeah, it's helping him get over as well. And I mean, he's a heat magnet because people love to hate him. So he's doing great at what he's doing, and I think it's definitely too soon to take it off of him. But Cena, that's what he's here for, is to put the younger talent over, and I think he'll do that, and he'll do a good job at it too.
Yeah, and Brandon, you mentioned the third of the year for him, but to get the Cena nod of approval, right? For Cena to agree to come back and put you over on that stage, I mean, that says everything you know about the kid and what they believe in him going forward. I think he's going to be the next big star for them. I don't think it's hard to put the Cena tag on somebody, but I think that's what some in the company, mainly Vince, want him to be. But, I think that he has that potential. And when Cena comes back and says, okay, I'll do it, I think you got to consider that going forward, what that means for him.
All right. Well, anybody else got anything else on that match? We're good with that one, I think. We all are it's a unanimous. I think we all think that Austin Theory retains there. I think that's probably if you were to take a poll, probably most of the people would agree with us. Next match I see here on night 1 here is Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. This match, to me, it's one of those I don't know, I want to say Logan Paul is an incredible heel. I still haven't gotten the whole Seth Rollins gimmick. Like, I think he was such a heel, and they started singing his song, and they just kind of, all of a sudden he turned baby. I don't even know when it happened, guys. I don't know y'all. It just all of a sudden he was a baby face because they started singing his music. Honestly, he still got those heelish things he does. But Logan Paul definitely he's definitely a face against Paul. Logan Paul is incredible, and we've talked about this in previous matches. For him not being a professional wrestler, just to go out there and train and be able to do some of the Rumble spot was incredible. And we talked about that one. I think that was our first show. But some of the things that he's able to do, this should be an incredible match because Seth can go in the ring. These two, they could be one of the matches of the whole weekend. It could be one of those that steals the whole weekend just from match quality to me. I'm going to go with Rollins. I think he wins myself just because, Paul's, I think his contract ends after Mania. I think they talked about, so he's not there long term. I think Rollins, I think he could be another challenger to whoever wins the title. He's obviously one of the top stars still in the company, and he could bounce himself over to get a title shot. Him and Cody had a huge feud earlier in the year. I guess it's been last year, I guess now, since he was out. But they had an incredible feud. Could be a challenger if Cody was to go over. But I think it's going to be Rollins. I don't know. What do you guys think?
1 second. I just got this just for this match.
That's a weird laugh.
But yeah, dude, I am enjoying Seth Rollins. I'm a huge Rollins fan. I think he could be arguably the MVP of WWE last year, simply for the fact that he was working all the time. He was putting people over. He needs a WrestleMania win. He's had a rough time at pay-per-views or live premium live events, whatever. He's had a rough time at those. Doesn't have a very good record there. So I definitely think it's a time that Seth needs the win over Logan Paul. And Logan Paul is phenomenal. I mean, you said it, Brett. For somebody that's not a professional wrestler, he is a heck of an athlete, and he performs every time he's in that ring. And he has natural heat from just being him. So yeah, coming into WWE, the fans just give it to him, and Seth is definitely relishing in that. And I expect Seth to win at WrestleMania. But you're right. It could still the weekend be match of the weekend for sure.
Yeah, first on Logan Paul, like Kyle just said it, but it's like Logan Paul's not a wrestling heel; he's a real life heel. Like he's hated by everybody in real life, and so they just because like in wrestling wise, he probably could be a face because of some of the stuff he does, but everybody hates him already, so there's just no way you can do it. And so it's kind of like the MJF
Well, they
thing
did versus the Miz because everyone hates the Miz, so that was
it still is Logan, but it didn't work because everybody at that time there's like we'll just hate both of y'all, but. And then with Seth is, you mentioned him about maybe being him and Cody. I don't know if they can go back to that right now. Is it believable? Like, yes, because Seth's one of the top, but Cody beat him 3 times. Yeah. Like what? Why is Seth obviously Seth's one of the top, but it's like, well, Cody just won the title. Let's give a match to the guy that he already beat 3 times. It basically the only matches he had before he went out, and he came back, give him the title, and you're going to give that guy a title shot. I don't know if they could do that, but. It's like
maybe not right away, but maybe it down the line.
Yeah, but that was it had to be way down the line because that's a story we saw so much last year.
Yeah, they had such good matches though. It would be a good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. No, they're great matches, but it's like I want to see Cody do other stuff now. And but I mean, last year when Cody was Seth's first, the opponent at Mania, that we knew it was going to happen. It was still exciting. I mean, Cody's music hit, and I still get chills every time I hear Cody's music. He brought that music with him, and every time that music hits, but we're not talking about,
it's hard. It's hard to go away from that main event. We'll get there, Brandon. We'll get there.
But Logan Paul, Seth, it's going to be an awesome match. I can't wait to see. We talked about the Ricochet spot at Royal Rumble. The spot Logan came in that chamber to attack Seth. I think we'll get some really cool spots in this match. And Logan did some cool things at Mania last year when he was teaming with Miz, and then when he faced the Miz. So every match he gives you at least one moment, and I think both of them could give. And he's definitely going to try us a few stomps in this match.
Oh yeah,
I think.
So did you say who you were going with, Brandon?
I think Seth to win, but it's tough. I mean, but the whole, like you said, the contract ending could be the thing. But you never know. I mean, Logan wins this one. They may re-sign him because he's enjoying it and he's really good. So,
I think Seth wins too. I mean, I think that's the smart play. I do think they'll head down the Seth versus Cody path, unless it's Randy versus Cody. I just don't think Randy's ready. I know I keep getting on that, but I think that's what a lot of people would want to see. But even though you knew Logan Paul wasn't going to beat Roman Reigns back at Crown Jewel, when you were in the middle of that match watching it, you thought that he was going to win the match.
I thought they might pull the trigger, and I said, "Oh my gosh!"
And so for a guy that they have that much faith in to give that spot and to let him do what he did, and even in the loss, it made Roman look not like Roman like he had for the last few months before that, right? And so is his contract up? Do they re-sign him? I mean, I think they like him. I do. I think they like him. I think Seth wins. I think he has to. But I think that I think once again, you're going to be in the match and you're going to be going like, man, I don't know who's going to win this thing. And I think what he's done is amazing right now. I think he's training and doing a lot more behind the scenes than they're letting on. I really believe that too. But I mean, obviously, you don't jump in the ring and do what he did at the Rumble just because you wanted to. But
the only person I can compare him to is Pat McAfee.
Oh man,
Yeah,
McAfee came the same type deal, just the natural in the ring. I was hoping that he might get a match at Mania.
I was reading today. I was hoping. I love McAfee, right, for a bunch of reasons, but I don't think they want to include him in this thing. I think it was a surprise at the Rumble, and I think he won't have a spot in this. I hope he does, but I don't think he will. But you're right. I think that the effect that both of those two guys have is pretty similar. And I think the fans, it's almost like you mentioned, Brandon, how they just all of a sudden started liking Rollins. All of a sudden he had this face turn. And I think that's what would happen with Logan Paul. Look at other promotions, right, with a guy like even when Jericho, they were having Jericho have to do so many crazy things to get the heel heat back on him, and it still wasn't working, all because of a stupid song, right? But
but they're not going to change that song, though. They're not.
Absolutely. And so, man, I think the guy could be a huge face if he were to be in there full time, and they actually could get him in front of the camera every week. But you're right. The way it is now, man, people just hate the guy. Yeah. So I don't think he wins. I think Rollins wins, but. Man, I'd love to see him stick around and be there for a while because he's the kind of guy that could compete for the world title at some point if they wanted to.
Yep. I think Logan Paul is fantastic in the ring. Him and McAfee, that's a great comparison. They're very similar. McAfee's loved and Logan Paul's hated. So I think if McAfee was ready to go, or if maybe at SummerSlam we get a McAfee Logan Paul match at SummerSlam, that would be.
Well, I was just thinking that the two guys that can just come in the ring, and do their thing, because you have McAfee, which he's a natural face to everyone now. Everyone loves McAfee. And then you've got Logan Paul, the natural heel, two guys that aren't wrestlers that is their first profession. Man, and they can do spots out the man.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that match right now.
They could do spots out the
Triple H, if you're listening, sign that match at SummerSlam. We want to see it.
I will say this real fast, though. Brandon, you mentioned they don't go back to Cody and Seth. I think you're right because of the 3 wins. But, man, how good was the Hell in a Cell match? I mean, even though Cody was hurt, I'd sign up for that and watch it every week if you'd let me, truthfully. So maybe that is what they do going forward. Maybe that's the next guy, but I just don't think it can be for the same reasons you said.
Yeah, it's just hard to imagine who that next guy is at this point. We'll talk about it.
Because we'll talk about it. Is the next thing after Mania, is that the Puerto Rico thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder for that one-off, if they'll try to do something with Damian Priest real quick, one-off in Puerto Rico with Damian Priest.
But do you buy Damian Priest as a contender with what they're doing with him as a lackey?
Or maybe they do, or maybe if Finn beats Edge.
Yeah.
I mean, Finn and Cody, if it's Cody,
I think
that'd be a good match, but I just don't. They haven't done a real good job of building anybody in the Judgment Day except for Rhea Ripley.
Well, it's just for a one-off for Puerto Rico, and then they'll retool after that.
I think Damian Priest and Bad Bunny will team up for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going against, but I think they'll team up and go against somebody.
I thought Bad Bunny
McAfee
was
and
the
Logan
host.
Paul.
Look, there it is.
I thought Bad Bunny was going to be the host of that.
He is. Doesn't mean he can't wrestle.
Yeah,
I
I think he
guess
would.
not.
I mean, Miz is going to weasel his way into a match this weekend, right?
Probably.
No, Baron Corbin is. Oh,
And
No.
Baron Corbin and The Miz, bathroom break match. Number 1.
It's going to be the Miz.
That.
I don't know if we plan on talking about surprises later, but I think the Miz does get on, but it's not going to be with Baron Corbin. You want to know who I think it's going to be? I mean, it's got to be Matt Cardona, right?
Oh,
It's got to be Matt Cardona.
As long as he doesn't come on as Zack Ryder.
Surely not. Oh my gosh.
Woo, woo, woo.
Well, they're doing a lot with his wife right now. She's
Yeah.
hanging around and annoying people.
Who wears pants with only one leg? I don't know. That was the dumbest thing of that whole gimmick, right? Like either you wear pants or you don't. I don't understand how that happens. But
Well, it's like when you sleep at night and you get too hot, so you stick one leg out of the cover and you kind of balance it out. I guess that's what he was going for.
Well, speaking of women, guys, the next match we're going to talk about is the 3-on-3 match. We've got Team Damage Control versus Team Hall of Famers and Becky Lynch.
And future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah. So this match for me, and it's and the way it's labeled, and y'all correct me if it's not for the belts. It's just a straight 3-on-3. So that throws the belts out of there. I think this is going to be a great match. We'll see how good Lynch can carry this team and how good Lita and Trish look in the ring. I think Damage Control wins. I think they need something. If they're going to stay, here's my opinion. I think it's Damage Control. If they lose, they're imploding. Because if they can't beat 2 retired wrestlers and Becky Lynch, then why are they a team? So I think
but
it's either
this
that
also
or
could be like a send-off moment for Trish and Lita.
it could be. But I think if Damage Control wins, I think that's the only way they stay together. It could give them the little push, and maybe they get the belts back. I think they're wasting Bayley right now. Like she's been back for since SummerSlam.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She went for the title how many times? 3 or 4, and they never put her back in the belt. I think if they would have done that correctly, in my opinion, they needed to have all 3 of them with the belts, kind of like similar to the Bloodline. They need to take notes, have a group, and have them dominate, have them cheat, lie, let them get the belts, and build somebody up and put them over. But they just kind of let this group kind of flail around, and they win a few matches here and there, but none of them are any better off. Really, they were hotter when they first came out, the 3 of them, to surprise everyone, than they are now.
Yeah, but Brett, I think what you're saying is the reason why they don't win, because I think this is the moment where they can get Bayley away from those 2, because I think they are wasting her. And when you look at all the women's matches in this thing, you got the 2 one-on-one matches, right? But you got the big, the 4-way tag, and then you got these 3-on-3. Man, I'd much rather see Becky Lynch and Bayley one-on-one. And I think Bayley, I think the whole women's division is kind of messed up right now. Like I think they've really booked it really poorly where there's too many groups. And I don't think you need to have a men's group and a women's group doing the same thing at the same time. I think that, in theory it works if you could do it later, but I think you got to get Bayley away from them. I think those 2 are just dragging her down to like those 2 of all the women in that division, for those 2 to be the tag champions for as long as they were, like, come on, man. Like but you're right. Bayley's being wasted. You got to give her a chance to get the strap back. And maybe they do that going forward. I think if they lose, they can do that.
Did y'all notice her hair was in a ponytail this week? It's growing longer. Could they go back to babyface Bayley?
I think they'll go babyface, maybe, but I don't think they're going back to
bring
the
back
gimmick.
her old gimmick, and
No.
No more long inflatable things that you see at the car lots.
I mean,
she was so over though in NXT with that gimmick.
She was
but she was over with Izzy.
Well, I know, but like she was like, I mean, it was a big pop over, and like,
but NXT at that time though was not what NXT is now. I mean, it was more that mode, right? Like that was designed for stuff like that. That wouldn't work in NXT now. I mean, truthfully, that I don't think it would be very well, but. I think they have to go babyface, and I think maybe this is a moment to where she sides with Becky. I don't know. Something happened. I don't know what could happen, but does it happen on Mania night? It could. I mean, that could be. I think that they have to lose to get her away from them if they're going to do that, and I think they need to, unless they're going to keep wasting her. And what they're probably paying her, they don't want to waste her.
I saw where somebody thought that Trish could turn on Lita and Becky Lynch.
Well, I mean, I can see that. I've heard that too, and it makes sense because then that could set up your SummerSlam match, or if you want to do it at Backlash, you can. I mean, it sets it up. I can see that happening. I also think Damage Control's done after Mania. I think they're going to lose. I think, and
so you're going with the Hall of Famers and Lynch then,
and the future Hall of Famers. Yes. But yeah, I think Damage Control blows up. I'm with y'all. I mean, Bayley's got to get away from that. She's too good to be drugged down in this. And I also think that EO is too good to be in this group too. I really enjoy watching EO. Dakota Kai is really good too. They just don't mesh together. And they were the hottest on SummerSlam night, and that's about it. That's as hot as they were. And so I think it's time to just give up on the group, separate them all, and then let Bayley go after Becky. I think And maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody returns on the women's side that could team up with Bailey. That I'm with you, Jeremy, that the women's division needs a lot of work. There's a lot of work. When Charlotte Flair comes back after taking 7 months off and immediately wins the championship, there's a problem.
They needed her back. They had to have her back.
But they didn't have to win the championship.
No. I'm just saying, like, they had booked it so poorly.
Yeah,
that they had to do that to get something
needed
moving.
To get that title. She's still trying to catch her dad. She's gonna eventually pass her dad in title reigns.
Well, hope she's not wrestling at that age, though. Let's be honest.
No, but she already got 14.
Yeah, she don't need, she can do it quick. She's almost like.
Please do it quick. Charlotte at 70, I'm not interested. I'm just going to be honest.
Remember, because back there for a while, it was Sasha Banks and her would just flip the title back and forth, like, they'd win, they'd lose, and back and forth. So she racked up those title reigns real quickly, and I think that was part of the deal. That I think eventually they're going to set her up to try to pass her father. That'd be a big storyline.
And you mentioned about Trish, maybe possibly turning. Every time you watch Raw these last couple of weeks, I don't know how many times they play the A&E commercial of her and the Lita feud, and she's like, "I was nasty, I was mean," and they keep playing that over and over. I mean, I know they're promoting that show, but it is interesting that you say that is like that. That they do things intentionally. So
yeah. And another reason I think Damage Control is going to split is because I think Io and Dakota have been showing signs of they're not being on the same page with Bailey. Bailey really set them up to lose that championship, those tag team titles.
Well, and they mentioned that this past week. I think I forgot who it was. If it was who on the other team said, "Why are you guys doing what Bailey? Y'all could do something on your own." Like they pointed that out to them. So, which leads me to believe they're trying to plant little seeds there too.
They're splitting that Mania. I think. I don't think there's any other way around it.
Anybody else? Anybody going with Damage Control besides me? I'm on the island. I just think I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think this match could go either way. I'm going to go with that because I'm trying to guess what WWE was going to do, not what I would do. So I think they like Damage Control. They have a chance to put them over. I think they're going to. If I'm wrong, that's great too. But that's what I'm.
Maybe they turn on Bailey in the match, and that's how they get Bailey back babyface. Is they get Becky to help her out. I mean, that's maybe the way out of it. I don't know.
The only thing about that is if they were going to do that, they shouldn't have taken the titles off of Damage Control, because then at the next event you could have had Becky and Bailey against them for the titles. Yeah. Like you got Becky and Lita as the champions. Like what the.
Well, I mean, I guess
they don't do very well with the women's tag belts at all.
Oh no, they never
don't need to have women's tag championships.
When Bailey and Sasha had it, it was good. Ever since, it's been a mess.
Do they have it? Do they have an NXT women's champion still too?
Yes.
Yeah,
they need to get rid of. They should just have the float like they had it for a while, where they float between the three brands with the one champion. Then you could have some NXT. You could have lots of different matches, and that'd be enough women's championships or tag matches for me. Because they don't do the problem with those is not that I don't like women's tag matches. Is they don't do a good enough job. Like, why do I care about them? If I have a match and it's like, oh, let's just put two random women together and have them in like what they're doing with Green, Chelsea Green. She's had like a different tag partner for the last 3 or 4. What? She had Piper. Why did she leave Piper Niven? She's a beast. Why
didn't want to work with her no more? But what Adam Pearce said.
That's their storyline. But to me, that's just stupid. Why are we? And then they qualify for the match. I thought for sure that they were going to lose.
And not only that, but you're not going to gain interest with 3-minute matches. Like, give me some build into it. Give me some story in the match. Give me at least 10, 12 minutes of a match instead of these 3-minute matches that are thrown together where I don't care who wins because they're not winning at WrestleMania.
Hey, guys, we got our first comment of the Off the Ropes podcast.
That's so dope.
That's so dope. Y'all know who that is. It's Corey. He couldn't stand it not to tune in.
What's up, Corey?
My man, Corey.
Hey, speaking of that, so dope, it's coming back right here on the DSN pretty soon.
Nice.
It's recording their.
How do you get to be a guest on that?
Yeah, I was about to say, how do you become a guest on that show?
You talk to Corey, Vince, or JD, I guess.
All right.
So
I'm a dope. I'm not dope, but I am a dope.
Yeah, we got lots of things going on here.
Let me say this, though, back to the match real fast. You mentioned the tag division, how bad it is. how can you really? All right, Becky's not at John Cena level where she's going to be part-time, right? So if you have the tag belts on Becky, who are you going to let beat her? I mean, truthfully, like that's the problem with having her in there. That's why they were perfect with who they were on.
Unless
Don't
she
let
gets
Lita
turned on.
and Becky win them.
Unless she gets turned on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe because
you're not going to lose clean. It's going to have to be something screwball.
Yeah, the booking is just so terrible. It's
garbage. For the women's division, it is horrible. That's why Sasha walked out.
Yeah, I mean, is Lita
Naomi left?
Is Lita gonna turn on Becky? I mean, in a tag match against those two? I mean, I don't think so. So I don't know, man. It's a mess, and they've put themselves in a spot where there's really not an easy way out without us sitting here going, what idiots, So we're gonna do it anyway. So
they put themselves into a corner, or not book themselves at all, really.
Well,
they've not booked themselves into a corner.
Right.
Speaking of booking, this is the match that Kyle is looking forward to the most. We got Brock Lesnar versus Omos as he leaves. As he leaves and turns off his camera. I don't know about this match. This match I'll probably be taking my break, or hopefully it'll be on Saturday. I guess this is not one, so I won't have to watch this match. When I watch the Mania, I can skip right through it because I'll be doing some All-Star games. Me and Brandon. So we maybe this will be one of the matches that's on that we'll have to watch. I'm not looking forward.
It's got to be second, right? Because it's so bad. That's what. And
I
when
mean,
Jericho came out recently, he was so mad about being second.
Yeah,
I just the match is bad. The booking's been terrible, and quite honestly, Redneck Brock is one I'm not interested in. Like SummerSlam, the spot was cool, but as a one-time thing. But he's just come back and he's just like, dude, you're not out in the field working. Like you're not riding your horses. I'm just tired of hearing it. And from him to have fallen from where he was at SummerSlam with that match that they put on to this is just like, what are we doing?
Is there any way that I'm going with Brock Lesnar. There's no way that Omos beats him, right?
Well,
I'm going with Brock. Kyle didn't like that one, or he's booing the match. One of the two.
I'm booing the match. The match is horrible.
I thought you went to the bathroom. That's where I figured you went.
No, I went. Well, that's going to be my bathroom break.
Break match, right?
Night one. This is horrible. Omos is not good in the ring at all. He's enormous, which is fantastic, but he is not good in the ring at all. Brock doesn't wrestle. He does finishers all day with spears and F5s. That's all he's resorted to now. I know Brock can wrestle. I know he can. He was in UFC. I get it, but he's I'm just not interested in this match at all. Brock wins.
Yeah, it'll be a spot fest, right? It'll be look how many times he can F5 the 415-pounder.
Yeah.
You don't have the weigh in unless you want people to know that he F5 the 415-pounder.
Well, Brock didn't even weigh in.
He never did.
That was confusing. But
let's have a weigh in. Oh wait, let's just brawl. Okay. It wasn't even a brawl. It was like 2 hits, and then they stared at each other. This is horrible. Yeah. Under 5 minutes. This match does not go 5 minutes.
It needs to be a squash. It's got to be the come down match from something big.
Please tell me you're counting the intros in that 5 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, good. Omos is huge. He was at his best in Raw Underground, honestly. I mean, when he was just knocking folks out, like that was cool. I think he'd be cool in a group. He's like an enforcer guy that gets in the way and beats people up.
Hurt business.
Yeah, exactly. Right where I was thinking, Kyle.
But he was good for a little bit with AJ, just the early on with AJ. Not when they were a tag team, but when he was AJ's muscle.
Yeah, he's a good muscle guy.
Plays that role well. He does not need to be in the ring with
people. That's their role, and they don't. WWE, they're fascinated with big guys sometimes to a fault. Like if he's just a muscle guy, then let him be a muscle guy in a group.
He would be a great Austin Theory muscle guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
It's
a good thought.
Does anybody got Omos in this one?
You know what? I'll be different. Why not? I mean, truthfully, who knows and who cares? I mean, it's
no one cares about this match. But I don't see Brock having a WrestleMania match and losing to Omos. Now, losing to Roman is different, but he's not losing Omos.
It's a spot fest for Lesnar to show off. I mean, that's what it's going to be. And
Lesnar's going to hit an F5, pin him.
Well, he'll do it again just for fun.
But Jeremy, Omos winning will at least, because you have it on. If Omos wins, it at least grabs your attention a little bit. If,
It
at
doesn't
least
even-
like
it
you're at least
doesn't
like,
even
wait,
grab my-
what happened? And then you're right. Where's the next match? But at least turns your head for a second.
So Brandon, are you going with Omos?
No, it's gonna be Brock.
I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, listen, I'm picking him to be different, but at the same time, why do they keep building this guy and keep giving him opportunities to just keep burying him? And I think that could be, if they're going to keep that dude around, and maybe they're not, maybe they're like, hey, we're going to literally bury you and we're going to kick you out the door. But man, it just seems like such a waste of time if you're going to let him keep losing.
Here's an idea off of Kyle's point. Maybe Hurt Business comes out and beats up on Lesnar. They put a like triple team on him, and Omos gets the win that way.
Now, if they do that, I'm fine with it.
And they joins the Hurt Business.
If it sets up for Omos and the Hurt Business coming together and Omos being the muscle for the Hurt Business, then I'm fine with it.
That could be one way the match goes.
I don't see Vince, because Vince is the one who booked this. There ain't no way Triple H would book this. So I don't see Vince having his boy Brock lose at WrestleMania to Omos. I just don't see it happening. No,
everything I saw is Brock.
Nefarious means.
They said Brock requested this match, that he wanted to work with Omos. I don't know why, but
he wanted to win.
He's going to show off.
Yeah.
He's going to show off his strength that he can F5 and suplex a big dude.
Yes, I mean, yes. What was he 7'4"? I mean, that is unique. So
yeah,
Suplex City on the 7'4" guy is going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah,
we have spent more time on this match than how long it will last.
I hope so.
Probably so. So let's move on to the one of the women's championship matches. We've got Bianca Belair versus Asuka, and I don't know how to feel about this match. I feel like it's Asuka's time to win, but I just don't know. I think these should have been reversed. And I think, Kyle, I think we've talked about this a little before. The people should have been reversed as far as the contenders, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like Bianca to face Rhea Ripley. I think that would be an Asuka Charlotte would have been better matched up here. But I think it's Asuka's time. I think this should be a really good match because, Bianca Belair, let's be honest, she doesn't put out bad matches. She's very athletic, very good in the ring. And, we know how good Asuka is. I think she missed her and ends up getting the win with her mists.
I really like both these women. I think Asuka has the momentum. To me, Bianca, she's fantastic in the ring, fantastic at what she does. She feels stale to me. Like she
needs a heel turn.
She needs something. Maybe she needs to lose the title and chase it instead of defending it. I don't know. She needs something because
she hasn't had a good competitor in a while either.
No, and that goes back to the women's division. That's but I think it's going to be a very good match. Both these women are fantastic in the ring. I think it's going to be a really good match. I hope. I don't know what WWE decides to do, but I hope what I want to happen is that Bianca loses the title to Asuka, and that Bianca either turns heel or we get to see her chase for a little bit and be without the title. And I'm excited to see what Asuka can do with the title.
Maybe they'll shuffle up the shows too, maybe to kind of mix up.
It's supposed to be a draft at some point this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I got Asuka.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go Asuka too. I did, Bianca last year. That was probably my favorite Mania match was her and Becky. So I'm hoping, put on another good one. But I don't, the way they brought Asuka back, and I think this is gonna be the time to give her a run where it's not silly Asuka title champion. This is serious. Asuka is gonna, and then the only time she had to miss before she was with Kairi Sane in a tag team. So this is the chance to give her a little dominant run, hopefully, and hopefully they put it on her and keep it for a while, not put it on her and hold for a while. But we talked about how bad the women's division is right now. Why does the women still have 2 titles? Like we only got one men's title, we got 1 tag titles, and then the women's stuff 2 titles. Can we at SummerSlam, whoever wins this match face whoever wins Charlotte and Rhea, and let's unify this stuff, and it'll help strengthen the division a little bit. But
I don't even think they're going to unify it because technically there's still 2 titles. They're just on the same people. So I think what could happen is when whoever wins those championships at the draft, they split them up. Maybe. I don't know. I just
It's
don't
time for those championships to be split back up.
Well, or I don't want them split up. I think they need to be unified.
They're
But
gonna unify 'em.
they
But
have
then you're going to have the champions just float back and forth.
that's fine. That gives you more.
I don't
people.
I don't want them to split to put the rosters back where it's just one. So then SmackDown is like it doesn't matter show. I like them split because it gives spotlights on each roster because then you get to where you're like AEW where you can't get everybody on the card. So if you have a Raw roster, and I still like that part. Yeah, but the title thing, I mean, it either needs to be one of the two. I don't like they're unified, whatever. I don't like that. They either need to be either one belt. Why are we carrying around two sets of belts? It's either one belt or it needs to be split. I kind of thought originally that they would make them defend them twice at Mania. You defend the Raw championship and then you defend the SmackDown. Then you get an extra match. But they didn't do it that way. It almost is like, to me, WWE has the right amount of belts, but they got them combined and there's not enough belts. You got AEW, everyone's got a belt. They're like belt collectors. We've talked about this before. They can't figure out how to get all the belts on. So I'm kind of in between on how I feel about it, but I think they need to do something. Either split them back to the brand or combine them and then have them float like they did at one time.
Yeah, I just thought for the women right now, it may be best to have just the one champion you're chasing because there's not, because there's just not that many contenders for a women's world title.
There's not a bunch of contenders, but what they've done is they've built up Rhea Ripley and Asuka really well.
Yeah, but then if they both win, then
so now you've got them both built up to win possibly, and then you just crush them, and one of them goes. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the one thing they've done. They've built those two women up really well. They might not have done a lot of other things, but they've done a really good job with those two.
But there's just no one else that can chase them after, because then you're not gonna put Bianca back there, and then it's just Charlotte chasing them, and then maybe Becky or Bayley. But there's just not enough there.
Well, it goes back to you've wasted Becky in a tag team, and you're wasting Bayley in a group that's not any good.
What about Raquel Rodriguez?
I keep thinking she's the next push, right? They keep acting like they want her to be, but
yeah. Well,
I mean,
hey, I'm in a tag team. Kyle's in a tag team. Jeremy, you're in a tag team. Hey, Brandon, you want to be a tag team? All right, let's all be in.
And they're not doing anything with Ronda and Shayna except just beating up everybody now.
That was what I was going to say next. Like, why aren't those two singles now and go? I mean, Ronda and Shayna, whatever. Here's the thing. I think that two belts at least keeps more people relevant because honestly, if there was just one, it would be a joke. I mean, it's already bad enough. You don't want to tune in and watch Elias and Chad Gable. Maybe some people do. I don't. How
about Otis?
Yeah, whatever. The point is, in that division, it's booked so poorly. You almost have to have the extra belts. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with you, but I think the way you've booked it, you have to almost, right? Because if not, you're going to have people care even less.
Because WWE can't do storylines without belts very well. That's the one thing that they don't do AEW does a good job. They have a lot of belts, but they can also do storylines without belts. WWE really struggles with having, okay, so why are these two fighting? Like, I tune in every week to Monday and Friday, and there's always 2 or 3 matches. I'm like, why are these guys fighting? Is there an issue here? Or they meet in the back like last week. Was it Ali and Seth Rollins? Yeah. Ali just starts talking. It was a funny promo.
Think positive Ali.
Positive Ali. I love it. That was great. I think that's something they could run with if they would do something with it instead of just have a one-off with Seth Rollins. And now where's it go? Like, they do too much of that. Like, why does that match matter?
Well, a lot of it when you have 3 hours, you got to do something.
I guess, but
explain to me how with all the resources, this is a whole nother, we're way off topic here. Explain to me why with the resources they have, they can't do any better at that. I mean, truthfully, like, why is their storytelling so? If you take out the whole bloodline story, what else have they done?
Yeah,
like, I'm not saying anything you guys don't know, but I mean, like, how is that even possible? I don't understand it. Like, they have all the resources in the world. They could put AEW out of business at any point they really wanted to with the resources they have, but they're not capable of putting that out there to do that, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's AEW is so far ahead of them when it comes to that aspect of it. in my opinion. And even with all their belts, they don't use the belts necessarily to tell the stories as much as what WWE has to do. And I'm not a professional booker. If I was, maybe I'd be just as bad as they are. I don't know, which maybe makes me qualified to work there. I should check out Indeed and see if there's an opening. So,
well, they lay a lot of people off. They got a lot of budget cuts, so I don't know.
Well, they need to. They probably should keep going. They keep doing it because they keep firing the wrong person. If we're being honest.
Well, they're not firing the one on top. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the main culprit is the head man. But that's a completely different subject. We could
actually have probably a whole show over that, huh?
I follow the football team that has the same issue, boys. So it's no different. It's no different. So we're getting way off, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah, hey, it's good to have a Cowboys fan in the.
Is it? Yeah, but no, that's the problem.
Oh,
I mean, they just can't tell us whatever, dude. Like, that's such a joke too. But anyway, I think Bianca wins.
The women and how bad they're booked. The next match is a women's match. We got Charlotte Flair defending against Rhea Ripley, and here we go. Oh, Kyle's, man, he's getting on the top of it. And her new music, by the way, I really like the
I was about to say that. I love her new, the little voice at the top, the "All Hail the Queen" part.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like the music, but honestly, and Jeremy, I'm assuming did you go with Asuka too? I don't know.
No, I was actually going to say this, and I'm glad we're kind of segueing here. I think it's going to be Bianca because I don't think they'll take the belts off of both champions in the same weekend because I do think that Charlotte's going to put her over. I mean, they've built her up to be. I mean, at this point, we feel like she could take on everybody in the Judgment Day, right?
I feel like she could beat the men right now.
Well,
they've put her at that level right now where she's. I think Finn is the leader of the group, but I mean Rhea could, in all essence, be the leader of that group. They put her on such a high level, like she's made that storyline. The whole thing with Dominic Mysterio, mommy and all that. I mean, she's done like Judgment Day was for a while. Like when it first changed, I was like, this is stupid. Why don't we Edge just started this group? Why are we doing this? And then it was stupid for the longest, but when they added her, that saved that whole storyline, and it's really elevated it. And it's got multiple, stories going with it. You've got Finn's story he's got going right now with Edge. You've got the Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio story in there. You've got Rhea Ripley now going after the belt. Charlotte. I mean, you've got so many good storylines coming out of that one group. And if you'd have told me 3 or 4 months ago that was going to be a good storyline, I'd have laughed at you because it was almost comical there for a while for me. I'm going with Rhea too. I think she's gonna take the belt off.
And I think I hope when she wins it this weekend that they can move her away from some of that because I'm with you. I think it was kind of silly. And I think there's like everything from their graphics to their music. Like to me, it just all seems kind of like, I don't know, not something you should take serious from somebody who I think is going to carry that division for a long time.
Like wings kind of look like the Philadelphia Eagle wings in the background.
Oh, gosh.
Well, don't worry. That means they'll fall apart at some point. But I just, sorry. I just think that, I know I'm in the minority of the Judgment Day stuff. Like I love Finn. I think Finn by himself is great. And the Mysterio stuff is what it is. But I think if she's going to win what she has to win, right? They've just been building this for so long. She has to win. And you almost have to get her away from a group that's it's not a comedy group, but man, Dominic, like, dude, be a man, like the hardened criminal that he is.
He's been to prison, okay?
He's been to prison, I guess. I don't know. But she's got to win. There's no way she doesn't. I think that she is. She's somebody that could carry that group for a long time, and I'd love to see her and Becky at some point down the road. But I think Charlotte's a good match for her to win at this point.
Yeah, I think Charlotte definitely puts Rhea over. Rhea should win the match, and I think she will. Jeremy, I hear what you're saying, but here's where I disagree. I think both champions lose, and the only reason why is to shake up everything, especially with the draft coming up sometime soon.
No, you're right.
I think just shake it all up, put new champs out there, and then maybe put Charlotte on Raw and Bianca on SmackDown, just to switch things up. But I do think it's Rhea's time. Y'all have all said it. She's carried the Judgment Day.
They could use the draft too, Kyle, to split the Judgment Day up. They've done that kind of thing before.
Yeah, they could.
Where they don't necessarily break as a part, like they hate each other and split, where they've split them in the draft. That could be a chance to move her and without actually them breaking up.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of my thing. I think we're going to see a lot of changes at WrestleMania just because I feel like a draft is coming up soon. I don't know when, but I feel like it's coming up, and just to kind of reset everything, because the whole roster needs a hard reset just to refresh everything. So, but yeah, I definitely think Rhea wins this match, and I think it'll be a better match than the one they had. What was that, 2020, 2021, when they had wrestled, at that Mania.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah,
it was that one right after. Yeah, there was the one with no fans or nothing.
Yeah.
I'm with. I mean, I could see them winning both. Changing both titles. Kyle, I just do they do that? They need to. You're absolutely right. I just don't have faith that they will. I mean, the women's division. I mean, we've said it 100 times. It's so bad, but they have some opportunities there if they'll do it right going forward.
They've got good talent. They just not booking.
They don't book it worth anything.
And if there's a hardcore group of fans of women's wrestling, which I know there is, right? But the AEW women's division is going to leave them behind if they don't fix it soon.
Yeah.
And AEW's got their own issues in their booking with their women, but they're gonna pass them up if they don't get that fixed. And it's becoming more and more of a competition than maybe anybody thought it would at some point, But I think they'll get it right, whether that's the draft or taking both titles. This weekend it could be either one.
Brandon, who you got?
Rhea, definitely. Like as much as she's elevated the Judgment Day, I really think whether she stays in it long term or not, it's elevated her career again, because she was hot for a little bit, and then she kind of went away. Like it was like she wasn't that dominant, but now it's made her. Now you view her as a dominant factor again, like someone that could beat a Charlotte. Where before the Judgment Day got together, she wasn't putting off that. She was just kind of a just a mid card fill in, and now she looks like a like a badass again.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the list of night one. Those are what's listed according to what I found for night one. Now, night TBD, which I guess these could be put on any night. Some of these will probably be night two, obviously, and then they may move some. We'll go down this list. The Intercontinental Championship match. I think this could be a really good match too.
Banger after banger after banger.
I mean, these guys could kill each other, honestly. We got Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. Man, this is you got lots of good storylines here. You've got the McIntyre and Sheamus, like they've had some good feuds. They've got that I don't know, that respect for each other, but they both want the title. And you've got Gunther with his little cronies and Imperium roaming around places, which I'm sure they'll be roaming around somewhere down there, interfere and cause some problems. Here's where I'm going, guys. And I don't know if y'all know this. I'm going with Sheamus. And the reason why is because he's looking for that Intercontinental Championship. He has not gotten it. I think it's this stage where he gets it at Mania to kind of complete his belt collection, per se. And that's where I'm going. I'm going with Sheamus.
I'm with you. I think Sheamus, it's his time too. He has been putting in some work. He has been putting on bangers, and I think he deserves it. He deserves the Intercontinental Championship. The only thing I don't know on how they'll handle it, does he pin Drew or does he actually pin Gunther to take the championship?
I think he pins Drew, and then he gets Gunther, or they can go one-on-one.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Jeremy disagrees with us.
Gunther's going for the big belt, boys. That's what's coming next.
Yeah.
His and that's where they could go with Cody after the Rumble and the way that went. I mean, he's the guy that could carry him through the summer until somebody's ready to go again. And I think too many things.
If he doesn't take the pin, then he could move on without hurting him.
Right.
Is that what that's about?
That's what I think. And I think then Drew and Sheamus feud. going forward for that Intercontinental belt.
Yeah, I think we're getting heel Sheamus. I think heel Sheamus is coming back. I think they let Sheamus kind of play out in the match, get the pop with his bro kick, and then the crowd, reacts to him winning. And then after the match, he does something to Drew, and kind of or waits till like next week. And I think we get heel Sheamus back.
I prefer to be heel Drew, honestly.
Oh, hey, I'm fine with that too.
I like face Sheamus and what they've done with him recently. Like it's fun, right?
The whole sword thing with McIntyre, I'm tired of that. Like he comes out with his little sword and he puts it.
Hey, no, I'd be a heel Drew and get broken dreams Drew.
So
why not?
Because you got Sheamus, he's got his group with him. So do they all turn? My question is, when will they quit wasting Pete Dunne and get rid of that stupid Butch name?
He's getting his name back before the end of the year.
Let the guy wrestle. That guy is an incredible. He puts on some matches, man, but they've wasted him as Butch. That's another one that ticks me off. Like, oh,
Pete Dunne and Austin Theory. Give me that.
Give it to me right now. I mean, he's a lackey and he's being wasted. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think Sheamus is turning heel at Mania. I think he wins, but I don't think he turns heel.
I like what Jeremy said. I drew. I've wanted that for a while. I stopped thinking about it because it never happened. So, but hey, this is the perfect time.
He's one of the faces of the company, though, and they normally don't like those faces of the company to be heel, like Beyond Belair.
I don't know why he's the face of the company.
Well, but I mean, he did carry the company through the pandemic area.
He's been out.
But I could see heel Drew. I just don't know if they'll pull that trigger. Like Jeremy said earlier, I think I can see it, but I don't trust WWE to do it. So,
we're all in agreement. We got different ways we think it could go. We're all in agreement though that Sheamus wins the belt.
So that means Gunther retains and.
Oh, you got Gunther retains, Brendan?
No, I was just saying because since we all think it's gonna be Sheamus,
we're
gonna do something.
That's what'll happen.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so let's see. Next, we got Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell. Woo! Another good one. This could be a really good match as well. I mean, you've got we've talked about this a little bit. We've got the rumors of the Brood reuniting versus Judgment Day, kind of balance the. Of course, it'd say no disqualification match, but I'm sure somebody will get in the Hell in a Cell. Me and Kyle talk about this all the time. Like, you got a Hell in a Cell. Why are we opening the door or opening anything for these? I don't get that. It's WWE at its finest. We have a cage match and we open the door and let somebody go in. Or the ref
is supposed to keep people out, but
we have a no disqualification match and the ref grabs the chairway, says, "No, you can't use that."
Come on, Aubrey.
So is it possible? I saw this theory, right? Is it possible that Jungle Boy buried Christian?
He went through a portal, the transfer portal.
He comes back through the ground in Hell in a Cell. I mean, I'm just saying.
It's the transfer portal, Jeremy. He's transferring over to WWE.
Oh, man. No.
They would. That takes a lot of long-term booking that WWE doesn't.
They probably don't think that they're not that smart. They don't know
it would take joint company booking too. Hey, we need you to bury him exactly 30 days so his non-compete's over. I don't know. I really like this. Whether it's the Brood thing or not, Demon Finn to me is just exciting to watch. Edge is doing some of his best work at this point. I mean, not necessarily in ring, but just who he is and how he's been. I've enjoyed it. And I think, gosh, I don't know, man. I think it's WWE loves Finn, right? They put the belt on him before he gets hurt and all these things. They've given him free reign to take Edge's group. But it's almost like, you can't see Brock losing at Mania. I don't know. I'm really 50-50 here. And if you told me I had to pick right now, which I guess you are, gosh, I got to go Edge, and it's got to be because there's some outside interference involved.
Well, here's my thinking. So, how many times has Demon Finn lost? He hasn't lost very many. When he comes out as a demon, he doesn't lose very often. That's like his special thing. I think maybe he lost once with it.
He lost to Roman for sure,
but that was obviously Roman Reigns. I think it's Demon Finn on the big stage. I think they're giving Finn the push. They're kind of trying to, elevate him so he could be a possible contender for Sheamus Intercontinental Championship somewhere in there, even
even
as high, even as high as the world title. So I'm going with Demon Finn, picking up the win over Edge. I'm hoping that ends this feud.
Please.
Yes, I'm with you, Kyle.
I mean, I love these guys, and this is Hell in a Cell. It's great, but I'm really tired of this.
Well, this should be the blow off. That's why you go into Hell in a Cell. This should be the blow off to end the feud.
We're blowing off. Hopefully the Mysterio thing. We're blowing off this. Now
Brock and Omos hopefully gets blown off.
Rematch on Monday Night Raw. I must get a rematch versus you, Brock.
I'm taking Edge, and the reason I'm taking Edge is because I think this is just me throwing stuff at the wall. This may be Edge's last WrestleMania, so I don't think they're gonna let Edge go out on a loss. I don't care to who. AEW. He's not going to AEW.
Oh my gosh! Please no. They got too many. Just stop for a second.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out because I heard his contract's coming up. So
that's what I think. I'm saying
over there. Maybe he gets thrown through the ring and he transferred portals over to AEW. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just
him and Christian rub shoulders on the way.
Yeah. Christian pulls him down and pulls him back through the portal.
Jeez. I do think Edge wins though, and I think it's going to be a great match. I think there's going to be interference from Judgment Day. Edge may have his Brood members. Her Gangrel may be there. So I think they'll do something. I think they all
get a bloodbath. Bloodbath? We get to see a bloodbath.
Not on WWE. If this is AEW, there'd be.
Oh, it's a pay-per-view though, Kyle.
I know.
Premium live event. Sorry, premium live event.
But yeah, Edge. I think Edge wins. I think they all end up in the ring. Judgment Day and Brood all end up in the ring at some point, even though it's a Hell in the Cell. But I think it's gonna be a great.
How would that happen?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be Hell in a Cell. No one in or out. That's part of the.
When you see a cage, just know somebody's entering that cage from the outside.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a match I've thought about a lot. This one I'm looking most forward to. But first off, so you remember this is where we can date ourselves. Remember back in the day they used to have those like WWE CDs. I used to play the Brood music on loop. I mean that's
we should have got that one, Kyle, on our.
That's one of the bangers. That's one of the bangers of all time. The Brood music. I mean that's right up there with Romans. I mean I would say it's a top 5 WWE theme of all time. And so I hope to hear that on Sunday. Also, Edge, I don't know if y'all saw, he said, I have some extra stupid ideas for this match. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what those are because I'm thinking a spear off the top of the cell. I mean, there's no telling what we'll see in this match, and I'm looking forward to it. And also, I noticed this is only the 4th Hell in a Cell match at Mania, and the first one that does not include the Undertaker.
Wow!
Because I was doing some Hell in a Cell research earlier today.
That's some good quality facts there, Brandon.
Yeah, so this is the first one
that journalism.
Yeah, first one that doesn't involve the Undertaker. So I'm looking forward to it. That being said, I think Demon Finn wins.
Or is this going to be the first one without the Undertaker, Brandon? You tell me.
Okay. See, I'm already excited about it, and now you.
Here's I was on Twitter yesterday, I guess, and saw this. WrestleMania 15, Undertaker, Big Boss Man, Ministry vs. Corporation. The Brood was involved. That's the one they hung Boss Man from the cage. So you're right. Somebody's going to get in, Kyle. And are they going to? I don't know. But back up. My favorite part of Mania are the entrances. Right? They do all this.
Oh yeah.
Like, I love Demon Finn entrance in a normal situation,
dude.
At Mania, man, it could be as much as Brandon likes the Brood theme song. I could be all about Demon entrance on Saturday or Sunday.
I'm excited about this, and I think Demon wins.
So I'm the only one that picked Edge in that one, right?
No, I think Brett picked Edge.
Oh. I had Demon Finn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Jeremy, you're with me. All right.
Brett has gone back and forth here. Brett said Edge a minute ago, but that's
no,
okay.
We'll let him go back. Demon Finn. No, because I said that he doesn't ever lose.
Yeah, he did say Demon. He did say
Demon. He only lost against Roman.
I thought Jeremy picked Demon Finn too. You picked Edge, Jeremy?
I think it's going to be Edge. I think some
kind
of interference.
I got me and Brandon with Demon Finn, and you, the other two, Kyle and Jeremy with Edge. I've been writing them down. So when we come back after this, and you're like, no, I didn't pick that. No, I wrote them down here.
I'm gonna have a perfect 10, perfect however many.
Okay.
No,
All right.
not at all. Look, if this goes
Y'all just
anyway
get
like
ready
my
for
bracket went, then I'm going over.
Yeah, you better find your Princeton real quick.
And right, this is what's playing at the end of the match. Just so y'all know.
It's a pretty good theme too, Brandon.
He don't have that theme anymore. He has the Judgment Day theme.
But he might break away from that.
I do like that they with the Judgment Day they've been breaking out like they've revamped Rhea's theme with it. They got Dominic. The only thing about Dominic's we can talk about this when he said that every time I hear his music, I think it says Apollo. I think it's the Apollo coming out. I was like, why is Apollo on Raw?
So
I think it says Mysterio, but
hey, speaking of how well the women were booked, we talked about that earlier. We got a fatal 4-way women's tag match right here. This could be another Kyle bathroom break match. It looks like he's gonna step off there for a second. We've got here's the groups because y'all. I mean, it's so well booked. Y'all probably already know who's in this match. I don't really know. I can't really remember exactly who's in this match, but here it is. You've got Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. I guess they're a team now. You've got Natalie and Chauncey. Natalia and Chauncey. I guess Natalia and Chauncey.
I was like, who's Chauncey?
Chauncey. And you got Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Probably the only group that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they've got the connection. And then you've got Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, the two haters of Adam Pearce. Yeah. So those actually make sense. That pairing is the one that's made sense the most since Chelsea Green has started picking partners, just because they both hate Adam Pearce. Why wouldn't they team together? There's a lot of good wrestlers in this match. It's sad that we're, kind of downplaying. It's just the booking is the main reason why we're not really excited about this match. I don't think there's any way that Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey should lose this match, in my opinion, of who they're facing here. So I'm going to go with Rousey and Baszler to win.
I think it's the safe play. I think that's who should win. But don't discount Chelsea and Sonya in this thing. Like, I mean, those are going to be the two that have a chance to win. I'm hot take here or cold take, depending on what you think. I respect what Natalia's done in this business, but like, I am so over it, man. Like, I can't do it. And so as long as it's not them, I'm okay. But I think one of those two, but I think you're right, Brett. I think it's going to have to be, Ronda and Shayna make the most sense. But
so then they go on and face Becky and Lita. That would be I'd watch that match.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And that's a way to let Lita get out of the picture.
And they would be a good tag team to represent. They could go on a long run, the two of them, until they get a big ego and decide to go against each other, and then you could split off and have a feud with them off of the tag run.
You know, I think that would be the best booking, which means that's probably not what happens, but
it won't be what they do.
It does set you up to do that down the road.
Yeah. That's what I think happens there. So you agree with me, Brandon? You on the same pick there? I guess since Kyle got off, he doesn't even he's gonna forfeit his. Oh wait, he's coming back.
Kyle's music.
Yeah. Look, I got my own music, but I won't play it yet. I'm waiting for that match, but we can play this. No, standard roadcaster tune. Yeah,
Ronda music.
Ronda and Shayna should win this.
Did you hear what we were talking about? What do you think about my theory?
Yeah, I like it. I like that. I think that could be the route they go, and then maybe Shayna and Ronda have a match at WrestleMania next year to separate those. Because really, who else are you going to put the tag titles on? They, like you said, they are the only team that really makes sense. These other teams are thrown together. Raquel and Liv need to be on singles matches. They don't need to be a team. But then you're taking away another tag team from an already depleted division. It's a mess. Ronda and Shayna, I think, win.
I just wish they'd stick with some teams. Like let them build some, like even put out some fake talent out there. Just give them some wins with some teams. Build some teams up like before you just stick them in a match like this. I mean, honestly, we all know who's probably going to win this match.
And everybody else had to qualify except Ronda and Shayna.
Oh yeah, they can just walk down. Oh, we're in the match.
That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. And I think Shayna covers up Ronda a little bit. Like both of them have a few deficiencies in terms of getting over with the crowd. They can kind of cover for each other. And I think they could just you're right, Kyle. Liv, Raquel need to be out doing their own singles thing. I think it does give you the option. I do like the theory. I'm sold on this now.
Yeah.
Let them win. Go take the tag titles. Lita rides into the sunset, and Becky, Becky can go after.
Goes back to singles and goes after one of the belts.
Go after Rhea. Sign me up for that. Becky and Rhea.
I like that. But like you said, Jeremy, since we said that, that's not how it's going to happen because that makes too much sense. It's logical.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Well, it wouldn't be any fun talking about this stuff if it made sense. Then we can just sit here and we can book things. That's more fun that way, right?
Mm.
That's true.
All right, so we're all on the same page there. All right, the next one on the list, and this one's still there. Now, this match happened the other night, did it not? Or is this a different match? We have the Fatal 4-Way for the tag match.
That was a Vince McMahon special. Can they coexist? They teamed up 2 of the teams and teamed up 2 other teams.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
all
it was actually 4 versus 4.
Yeah,
because we want to make sure we get enough of these guys because we want to see them fight each other every single week for 4 weeks straight until we get to the match, and then that way we already know what everything that they do. I hate that. Honestly,
that's early 1990s Survivor Series booking right there.
It's like, hey, my favorite one is when there's a tag team matches, and so they go one single here against other singles. And the next week, then they go the next week the other 2 singles, and the next week, oh well, I hadn't faced this guy yet, so let me go against him. Like for 4 weeks in a row, and by the time we get to the pay-per-view or premium live event, I'm sick of it. I don't even want to see it. WWE is the worst at that. I'll say AEW. I know this is not theirs, but they do a great job of building matches without having the same people fight each other every single week.
They do a good job of keeping them away from each other.
Yeah,
for a while.
Let's build it up.
Yeah.
I mean, tease us, make by the time the pay-per-view, I want to be like sitting at the TV, like waiting for the match. Like I'm ready for it. Not, oh, I've seen this 5 times. Let me just go take a break and go get some dinner. Like that's what they don't do very well. So
and they used to.
When you're facing somebody else and you come out at the ramp and stare them down and stuff, and just kind of build it, not fight each other.
Yeah, it's dumb. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. We've got another one of these, and some of these teams don't make sense to me, honestly.
Well, 3 of them are teams, and then you got Ricochet and 3 of them actually have team
names. That's
what
I'm saying. Braun, and here's what I heard. Braun Strowman hates little guys that leap all over the place. Then you tag him with the one that does the most flips and most crazy stuff that's on the roster full time, and it's Ricochet. I mean, going with it. It's almost like AJ and Omos again.
That was just punishment for leaving. That was just punishment for being away for a little while.
Yeah, punishment for making that tweet too about flippy people. Yeah, your punishment. We're gonna tag you with a flippy person.
So then you got the Street Profits. Okay, that makes sense.
That's the one.
Oh. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm ready for that.
Al's got all the cups on his wall over there, and
yeah, throw them up. That one, obviously, that makes sense. I love the Street Profits. Eventually, I think they're going to split and do Solex, but I really love them. I don't want them. I'd like them to have the run with the belts before they do that, but we'll see if they do. You got Alpha Academy. You got Chad Gable and Otis. Which I think that's coming. I think that's going to play in that.
Together, you think?
Yeah, this is where he leaves and goes and joins.
I hate that they're splitting the Alpha Academy up. I like Chad and Otis. See,
he's already ready for it.
Yeah, he's had some interesting stories ever since he left Tucker Knight.
Yeah,
and then the repackaged Viking Raiders, which I like them. They repackaged them. And so I like what they've been doing with them lately as far as building them up. They've done a good job of building them up. They'll
have a new name by Sunday. But
hey, at least it's better. Did you hear what the first time they were going to name it? It was going to be like the Viking Experience.
They did for a little bit, yeah.
Did it come out like for 1 week there, and then they had so many people complain the name was so terrible they went back to the Viking.
They were with the War Raiders.
War Raiders, but see, War would be that'd be too violent. Yeah. It used to be Raw is War, but now.
This is a PG program.
Yeah, PG. So we don't want to do anything about the war. I think the Sarah Logan edition has added something to the group. I think that could be someone else that gets a later push for a belt for the women. But I think right now they're kind of using her almost like Rhea. It's in a group. gives them an extra person where they can, she can interfere and do all that kind of stuff. Out of these 4 here, I think it's the Viking Raiders that go over in this match. That's who I'm going with.
I personally, I just don't have any interest in the Viking Raiders. I don't know.
I didn't say I had interest. I just said I think that they've been building them. I think that's who's going over.
I just don't care about the Viking Raiders. I just don't. But I think it'll be a very entertaining match. I mean, these 8 guys on Monday, the ending sequence with Ricochet and Montez Ford was phenomenal. I mean, this will be a good match. I'm interested in it in that sense. I don't see that. It looks like they're going to break up Alpha Academy, so I don't think that they'll win. We know that Street Profits are breaking up at some point, so I don't think they'll give the title to them. I could see them giving, or it's not really a title match anyway, so it's just.
Remember, we already have the title match later that has both titles.
Well, I could see them giving the win to Ricochet and Braun just because they've kind of been having some momentum as well. I'm going to pick Ricochet and Braun just because I don't care about the Viking Raiders.
Okay.
I actually like that pick. I think Braun and Ricochet would be a good feel-good match. I think you'll know a lot of who's going to win based on where the match is in the night, right? Like if it's at a point to where a heel is just won, then you go Braun and Ricochet. I'm with you. I think the Street Profit split's coming very soon. Like I don't know if it happens this weekend. I don't know, man. Like I hate that, but I like it because they're really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's an actual group that actually has like is a group together. Like they do such a terrible job of building tag teams, and you've got a natural one, so you hate to do anything with it, but they're so talented individually that
it's too bad Forbidden Doors, not AEW, WWE, right? Wouldn't you love to see Street Profits and the Acclaimed?
Oh my gosh!
Give me a promo between the two.
Yes, and how about a triple threat with the Young Bucks?
Yeah,
involved in it, dude.
Put FTR in there too.
This is called dream booking. Is what this is. Booking dream matches that will never happen.
This is what the guys on YouTube that create their own
years in AEW.
Yeah, well, that might be the case, Brandon. But these guys that go create their own WWE universe on PlayStation or Xbox and put it out on YouTube, this is what they would do. That would be the case. That would be the match.
So dope.
So, Brandon, who did you go with? Did you make your pick?
Viking Raiders?
Viking Raiders.
I just think.
So here's my theory on why I'm also going with Viking Raiders. This is where I think it's going. My opinion only. I've never heard anything. I think Viking Raiders goes over. Then you have the tag match change belt hands. So Viking Raiders could chase, or not really chase, but go after the new tag champions. Not giving away who I'm going with, but that would be what I think, because they are a good, solid heel team that could go after the belts next.
I don't know if I want to see that match, but
well, I mean, I don't. It's just that's to me the way they've booked everything. That's what it looks like it would go to. Just the way they've booked them.
Kind of like Kyle with a few others. When I see Viking Raiders come on and their music hit, it's just fast forward. I'm never watching it.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't necessarily. This is not me saying I like them. This is just what I think what they're going to do with them based on.
I think they're very good. I think they're good in the ring. Like they can go in the ring. I don't have any interest. I just don't care. I don't. But I think they're good. But I don't think. Yeah. Anyway. Enough about the Viking Raiders.
All right, so the next one on the list, I'm actually going to skip the next one because it kind of deals with the last one, and we're going to go to the next one after that on the list. And it's going to be the match for the Mysterio name, right? That's what it's going to be? He wants to take the Mysterio name from him. I don't know. Ray versus Dominic. I mean, Ray's going to the Hall of Fame. It's a WrestleMania match. He's going to put his son over, right? That's what I'm going with. I'm going with Dominic. He's going to put his son over at Mania because it's Rey Mysterio, and he wants his son to be successful in the business. He's going to put him over. That's where I'm going. Even though I don't want that to happen, I think that's where it's going. I think he puts him over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I think Dom is victorious at the end of the night. I don't necessarily think he gets the win. I think there's going to be a disqualification. I think somebody's getting involved where some member of Judgment Day is going to hinder Ray, and Dom's going to get the win. But I don't think Dom's actually going to win the match.
Well, yeah, that was me saying he was going to win. I didn't say really how. So, but yeah, I think that he's not going to legitimately one-on-one beat his dad. That way it leaves Ray still.
Ray can look good, and Dom it still maintains
he's going to come out every week. Oh, I beat my dad at WrestleMania. He was a deadbeat dad, and now I beat him at WrestleMania. That's new thing. Kind of like his prison thing that he went on for a while.
Goodness.
Oh, I spent the night and I mean, I'm tough.
That's what I thought was impressive is he spent the night in prison, not in jail. I mean, he skipped jail, went straight to prison. That's tough.
Usually takes months to get there.
Yeah.
Here's what I think, and I'm dream booking, okay? You can't put Ray in the Hall of Fame this weekend and him not be reunited with his son, right? Like, I think Rhea wins, she moves on. Let's say Finn wins. He's at the point where he can move on. Maybe at some point Damian or Finn or somebody pushes Dominic to the point where they're doing something to Ray that he realizes, man, that's still my dad or whatever. And the weekend ends with them being reunited. Dream booking here. By the way,
I think that could happen. I just don't think it's going to happen yet.
It's just the perfect timing to, honestly.
They could drag the storyline out and actually continue some storylines after Mania, Jeremy. And then so that they could keep it going, and then what you have say happens maybe months down the line, and then he reunites with him.
Go ahead.
If they're still doing this 6 months from now, I may never watch again. But I don't know, man. Like,
if that's what they wanted to do, they needed to speed up this story then. I know
because they just hit him like last week. Well, now you're gonna.
And I know it sounded hypocritical because I love the long-term storytelling, which is fine. But then you should have started this story earlier so you could get to this point where now at WrestleMania it would make sense for that. I don't
be too rushed. I think.
It doesn't make sense right now for them to reunite. I'm with you, Jeremy. I think that should be the end of the story, but they started the story too late to get to that point.
I just think when Ray hit him, maybe Dominic's just a great actor here, but there was just this look in his eye of, oh no, I might have messed up here, right? Like, and so maybe that's I don't know. That's just what something crazy has to happen out of all this, right? Like you can't just go and have all these matches and it end.
So who are you picking then, Jeremy?
I think Ray wins. I think Dominic, Ray will win the match. I don't think you can have him lose. I don't know if it's clean. I don't know if it's because he gets the pin, but something's going to happen.
I just don't want to say that yet. I'm emotionally invested in this story. I don't know. There's something about it, and I do hope Dom comes out on Sunday on one of Eddie's lowriders. I mean, he's got to do. He's
come out to Eddie's music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got to do all that, and that's why I don't want to see Dom turn soft yet. I don't know. I like Dom. I may be in the minority, but I like Dom, and I want him. I think he'll win and do something with that momentum and stay kind of the tough guy he's supposed to be. But
the tough guy.
Yeah. I want. I don't know. I think Dom wins, and I want to see. I don't want them to end that yet. Maybe Ray comes, goes to the Hall of Fame, goes away for a little bit, and comes later, and they reunite, but not yet.
So, Kyle, did you have Dom too?
Yeah, I think Dom wins.
Okay.
I think Ray puts him over.
And to be honest, like before he went heel, I didn't like the Ray Dominic thing was terrible because he couldn't wrestle.
Yeah, he's gotten better.
But what it's done for him, instead of having to live up to being next to his dad wrestling, he's got to stand behind in the shadows, get trained, and only do certain spots. It's really helped him not only as a wrestler but as his character. He's done really well with the heel character. His babyface character was pretty.
Yeah, he's bought into this gimmick, and he's working it. He's doing really good.
Like 6 months ago, when I couldn't stand the Ray Dominic segments. I mean, oh my gosh, give me a break. Just hit him on now. You want to turn on him, and so it was the best thing for his character. And one of the better things that WWE's done, with the bloodline, this Judgment Day, Dominic, this whole Rhea thing, this whole storyline with all the interchangeable or intertwining parts has been one of the better things that they've written. And honestly, I think the bloodline thing just fell in their lap. They should have done that 2 or 3 years prior. Like I was calling for that when they were booing Roman Reigns already. It's like, turn him heel. With this, you got the Usos, you got the family. It was an easy thing to write. And they did it and it took off, but it wasn't a hard, like it was a natural thing.
Well, that alone wouldn't have been a good enough story. The Sammy thing is what fell into their lap.
It did. The Sammy thing definitely added to it. And you're right.
That's what made the story as great. We would have been tired of Jimmy and Jay versus Roman at some point. It wouldn't have had the same feel. That the Sammy thing added so much to it. And then the KO thing, which at first I was like, it added a ton to it and made it what it is. And you're right. The Judgment Day stuff has been some of their best work, which unfortunately doesn't say a lot. I know it's a matter of preference, right? Like people could watch it and say, man, they love the Judgment Day stuff. I personally don't care for it. Like I haven't from the very beginning. When it was Edge, I thought it was kind of like, okay, this is.
Well, at first it wasn't. When they did that, when it was Edge, and then all of a sudden he was kicked out, I thought that part was dumb. But as they've gone on, the adding of Dominic and Rhea and the things they've done with it have really sold it on me where I'm interested now. Now, it's not my favorite thing. The bloodline thing is the main reason why. But this has been one of those things that now it interests me. It gives me something. Okay, so what's going to happen this week? Is Ray going to finally give in and hit him this week?
Secondary storyline that.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
And you just mentioned KO and Sammy. That's the next match we've got.
Oh.
So and not Kyle. Kyle's not going to Maine. For those of you listening, it's not our KO is not going there.
No.
Although that would be fun.
That would be, bro. That'd be a blast. I'm really trying to look. I'm in this Wheel of Fortune giveaway thing this week where I'm solving the bonus puzzle and sending it in because they're giving 2 round trip tickets to WrestleMania 40 next year. So I'm entering every day.
But Jeremy, it's in that terrible area up north, that Philadelphia area.
It's the city of brotherly love.
It'll have a certain smell to it.
So this match, I mean, honestly, I don't know if this one I'm looking more forward to than the other, but this one I'm really looking forward to this match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the WWE Unified Tag Champions.
No. Undisputed.
They
have not unified them.
Well, they need to be something.
By the way, dude, who is in agreement that this should main event night 1? Brandon? Oh, okay. All right.
I think
I knew they weren't going to.
I not what they're going to do.
It should be. They should have this one and the Roman one the next night should be the main event. I mean, these two deservingly need to be the main event, in my opinion. Now, but when you have the Royal Rumble and you win the Rumble, what's the main event? And that's why they're going with the other.
There's so many instances over the years where that's not the case. That's not even.
But they've sold that as if you win the Royal Rumble, you'll main event WrestleMania.
I know that's what they've sold, but they sold you a bill of goods because that's not how it works a lot of the time.
That's what they'll tell you why they don't. Why it's that way. I'm sure.
Yeah. They could main event night 1. I mean, I know it's not the main event, but it's. I'm with you, man. You got to reward these guys and put them on last. I mean, it's been an unbelievable. All 4 of these guys have been unbelievable.
If you don't put them in the main event, where do you book them in the show that there's not going to be a letdown afterwards where you're setting up the next match for failure? Like,
if you put them ahead of Omos and
sure. I mean you're saying that jokingly, but that may be the best.
I'm serious. Like
because then nobody cares about that next match anyway. So there's going to be a
crowd time to go to the bathroom and get ready to go back for the next.
That's not a bad idea.
This night is probably going to be before that, like Braun Strowman and that match.
Yeah, I hope what they don't need to do is schedule this right before the main event of Rhea and Charlotte because that would be a terrible decision.
What's a different night? Yeah,
it might. It's
No,
not.
Charlotte right now. They haven't said what night this match is on.
Rhea
yet.
I
and
think
Charlotte will probably main event
I
night
think this
one.
match may lead off night 2.
Oh man.
Okay. The blood. Okay. So the okay. I like. Okay. I like
So then
that.
you put. So then who do you put after that though?
Oh well.
One of those fatal 4-way tag matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the women on after that.
Yeah, the match with we don't care about the women's tag match. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we all in agreement of who's going to win this match? I feel like we are all in agreement that it's going to be they've got to put over KO and Sami Zayn.
If KO and Sammy don't win the belts, then what do we do all this for? What's the point in all this?
Well,
I
could Vince McMahon, you just never know. Maybe he likes the Usos and they retain over. So the main question is, how does the match end up going? Does anybody else get involved? Is it straight 2-on-2? Do y'all think? Do Solo hanging around? Roman Reigns probably is not going to be there yet. He doesn't do anything extra outside of his little certain time, so he probably is not going to care about his cousin's match.
Jeremy seems exasperated about that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
He knows what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one match I think there's so many different angles to. While I think KO and Sammy win, I don't think it's just a foregone conclusion. But because of the long-term story. All right, so what are they going to try to get to eventually here? Right? We know at some point, unfortunately, it's going to lead to KO against Sammy again. Like it almost has to. I think it'll get to that point.
Maybe
is there a moment in Sammy's mind in the match to where he doesn't want to do something to his boy for the last however many months, who just attacked him recently, by the way? I think it's too quick to have that happen. All right. Yeah. It's not going to happen because it's too fast because of all this. You can't drag it out for a year and then rush these two losing in this match. So they're going to win the match. But, is KO, heel KO, by the way, is the best KO. Is heel KO going to turn on Sammy at some point? I think it's too early, right? It's too early for that. But I've just read a lot of theories that think maybe that's what happens here, is that KO turns on Sammy in this match or something crazy happens. On the bloodline side of things, Roman's not going to get involved. I mean, we know he's too busy with what he's got going on. Solo, maybe. I don't know. Like, what's Solo going to do during this weekend? He's too hot to do nothing.
So, okay. So here's something that I don't understand. Okay, so we had Solo versus Cody Rhodes their night, and they made a big deal about neither one of them had been pinned. And you pin Solo. Why do you bury Solo like that? They should have interfered and did some kind of. Well, but you made him lose on a regular Raw.
Well, but because you're trying to build up Cody to make Cody believable where he could take down Roman, and Solo not being beat, that's adding to Cody's reputation that he's taking down everybody.
Here's why I don't think that's a good idea, because I think if he beats Roman, then Solo could have been a next competitor. Now he just beat him. You just beat somebody that hadn't been pinned on the main roster. Yeah. That was, to me, that is a waste.
The promo a few weeks back where it was Cody and Roman face to face, and Cody really attacked Solo verbally a few times, which I thought was great. But like Cody, you don't see that at Cody a ton, but I thought it was really good. So I thought, okay, maybe that's what's next. But you're right, to have him lose on Monday, it doesn't make sense to me either. But I don't know. The whole bloodline thing's going to fall apart this weekend.
I think what could happen is that they're going to kick Reigns out of the bloodline because he lost. They're going to finally had enough of Reigns. They kick him out. They beat him up or whatever. He goes off on his vacation that he's supposedly going to have anyway. Now you've got the Usos and Solo. You can keep Paul Heyman there. He can be their wise man. You can continue on the storyline, but on a new direction without Roman. Then Solo could have been the one going after. And then, of course, the Usos are going to want a rematch. You could still extend some of that out because I think they could really use Solo. But now that you've, basically wasted him, I mean, I'll say wasted. It's one loss. But your same theory, Kyle, that you said that, Seth had lost to Cody several times. Well, now Solo just got beat by him. In a regular match
pay-per-view, though.
I know, but a regular match on Raw, just a few weeks ago. Now you expect him to be a contender.
They shouldn't have scheduled this match. There was no point in that match.
No.
they booked themselves into a corner
Well,
because
all they had to do was do the WWE thing and have interference.
have a disqualification. Then it's a mute point.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, "There's no way someone takes a pin in this match."
Yeah, I did too. I didn't think so. They handled it poorly, in my opinion. I think if either don't schedule the match, or if you schedule the match, have a interference or a disqualification where both of them still look good. But I think right now the story in my opinion, the way the story's going is the bloodline's breaking up. I think eventually that Solo and the Usos turn on Roman, like you said, kick him out. I think that's happening down the line. So I really don't think I think a loss here for Solo on Monday made more sense in the storyline to show there are cracks still in the bloodline.
Right.
Look, the enforcer who hadn't even lost, he's losing now. Like, what's going on with the bloodline before Mania?
It's going to get really bad because then you're going to have the tag championships change.
Yeah,
and then the only one left is going to be Roman,
and then he's going to lose. Maybe. But yeah, so I think you could have him retain, and then everybody else lost their titles, and Solo's lost, on Monday.
Why am I with you guys? Because you guys are terrible. Y'all lost your belts. Yeah, y'all. I mean,
here's what we know about Solo losing Monday. We know he's now not next. He's not going to be next because
he's not ready, according to Cody.
Well, which to me was if they didn't wrestle Monday would be a great place to go with it. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that it was more, like you said, Kyle, to set up what's going on in the bloodline. Frustration for Roman with those guys for losing. Frustration with the fact that if the Usos lose and Solo lost, and that's his frustration, he's going to go away. He's going to tell him he's sick of him, blah, blah, blah. He's gone, whatever, right? And then I don't even know if those three stay together, right? Like, does Solo need the Usos? I think if you want to push Solo to that level, then you let him go out on his own. Although, I mean,
I think he still needs them for a time period because to keep content. Because I don't know. He just hasn't been on the mic a whole lot unless he just goes with Paul Heyman and Paul Heyman takes him. He needs a mouthpiece.
It needs to be Heyman.
Yeah, because he's not there yet as far as from what I've ever seen on the mic. If he has, they haven't let him do it, and I think they probably would let him talk if he was ready.
If you think about it, Heyman is with Lesnar. Reigns beats Lesnar. Lesnar goes away. Now Heyman's with Reigns. Reigns loses. Reigns goes away. Now Heyman's with Solo, and you set up Roman and Solo at some point down the road when he decides to come back. Makes too much sense. So it's not happening.
It won't happen.
Nope, it's not happening. It's not happening there. It's definitely so. I mean, I'm going Cody Rhodes. I think it's time. It's time for the one to take the pin. Hadn't been pinned since 2019. Hasn't been pinned this decade. We put that in perspective. This run, I mean, it's been incredible, honestly, that they let it go this long. But it's worked. It's the one thing that's worked, and take it how you want. Roman's been off TV almost as much as he's been on TV, which I don't like that, but he has carried the company on his back for these last 3 years. Coming back when you didn't even know if he'd ever wrestle again. He had, come out with cancer and, that whole, so then he came back, and to be able to do it this long. And the question to you guys is, if everything goes to fruition, he goes away. I mean, is this the end of full-time Reigns? Is he going to be like Cena, The Rock, or do we get him back again? Because what else can he do at this point?
I don't. I think he keeps the same schedule that he has now, because if you think about it, he kind of went away after Mania last year. I don't think he wrestled at Backlash. He didn't wrestle at Money in the Bank. We didn't see him again until SummerSlam at a pay-per-view. I don't think I'm not sold that Roman loses the title. I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I was sold that Cody's winning it and Roman's losing at Mania. The whole bloodline's. I'm not so sure. And the only reason, a few reasons, WWE is all about their numbers. Roman's so close to 1,000 days. Yeah. I don't think they're going to let him lose before he reaches that big 1,000 number.
So do I hear you saying you're going with Roman Reigns?
I don't know yet, but I'm just saying I'm laying this out on the table.
Okay,
To,
all right.
you know,
That's what it sounded like.
Well.
That's what it sounded like. You're
I'm just saying they're big fans of the big numbers. Cody, in my opinion, hasn't struggled enough. He was injured when he tore his pec. He hasn't struggled enough. He was injured when he tore his pec. Then he came back.
And then he came back in the Rumble for number 30. He struggled. That was 30. Tough.
No, he only beat 6 people in the Rumble.
I know. I'm joking.
He's wrestled the same guy at every pay-per-view. Seth Rollins beat him 3 times. That's great. But I think they need more time to build up Cody to take the title from Roman. So what I propose, Roman win at Mania, and then you create that dissension within the bloodline. Roman's the only one that kept his title. Everybody else is losers in my family. So that creates that dissension. And then at SummerSlam, let Cody take the title from Roman. Roman will have his 1,000 days. The bloodline can finally completely fall that night.
Can we split the belts before then? Good gosh.
I mean,
can we see? Here's what I thought would happen. I thought that he would, at one point, I thought he would have 2 people would challenge him. So that he would lose one of the belts to Cody, but then he keeps the other one. So he keeps his record. He gets 1,000, or he has something in his contract. Maybe Cody beats him. They come out the next night on Raw. Well, in the contract, it was only for this belt. And so he keeps his other belt for a long enough time, and then that one gets beaten off of him, maybe by Solo. Maybe Solo gets tired. He goes out. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming it out now, but I just thought that would be a loophole to get to 1,000 and have Cody win at Mania. I could see Heyman weaseling something like that in a contract. I don't know that they'd be that creative, though.
Okay, Kyle, here's the thing. Has Cody struggled enough in the last 3 months? No. But the struggle with Cody and the way they portrayed the story is not about the last 3 months. It's about the last however many years.
It's the gold or the Stardust to leave in.
That's what I was going to say. Stardust is the struggle, man. Like, seriously. And that's been such a big deal. The family issues and the family never doing that. The battle is more, to me at least, I mean, the battle's against Roman Reigns, but the battle, to me, is in his head. Can he do something that's never been done by his father? As WWE is about a lot of things, and numbers is one of them, and you're right about that. I don't disagree. But if it's not going to be Cody, who's it going to be? Like they have, as you mentioned, they have spoon-fed him this opportunity, and they've given him all this, and they've built him up to be what he is. And I think he's won on the microphone. You know, I just think that, oh man.
I think it is Cody. I just don't think it's this weekend. I do think Cody's the guy to take him down. I just don't think it's right now.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know. That's what's so great about this stuff, right? Like, the people who don't enjoy what we're talking about right now, like, I get it, right? Maybe you don't want, maybe whatever, for whatever reason you don't. This is, to me, is what's interesting about it. It's I don't know. There's so many ways it could go, and that's why they've done such a great job of including KO and Sammy in the story, the Usos in the story, Solo in the story, Cody in the story, Heyman in the story. There's so many pieces of it that it's like,
so many layers.
How in the heck do you know what's going to happen? Yeah. And that's why those 2 matches have to be spread apart on the card, right? Because I don't know, man. I think it's Cody, and I think it's Cody now just because of the way I think if Cody doesn't get hurt a year ago, that this would be a clean, a longer build to this. Yeah, I think that's the other part.
100% agree.
That's the other part that fell into their lap with the Sammy thing, is because Cody getting hurt made that a bigger deal, right? Like, I think so. All those things are working together for a bunch of reasons. I think KO and Sammy win. I think Cody wins, and I think the bloodline's done. I'm convinced. I think Roman will take a little more time off than he has in the past. I think he'll be back at SummerSlam, but I think we may not see him at all for a while. And I think the way to let him lose now and not let him come back until then would be the way to do that. But it's going to be interesting. It's really one of those matches that, man, there's some of these matches you look at and you're like, okay, they're going to win. They're going to win. They're going to win. And this one, you had no idea. Yeah. Even the tag match, I feel like we know who's going to win. But this one, man, I have a hard time not picking Cody in this one. But I don't know, Brandon. You've been sitting there hearing everybody's arguments. We kind of need you to
listen to all the sides here.
To tell us.
I mean, I think I've always thought it was going to be Cody. I've always thought this was his time, and no matter who he's facing. But I think it's gonna be Cody, and Roman's had a great run, and I can see where it's hard to see it ending because it's been so great and it's kind of in sooner or later. But I think it's this Sunday, and just be a great moment. Here's the only thing is if Roman wins, do we somehow get The Rock to end the show?
Please.
Oh,
That would be then like so now I'm kind of doubting myself because or do it Rock's got to make an appearance in Hollywood, just some appearance Sunday night, right? Even if it's not during that night, he's got to something.
well, we haven't talked about do we expect anybody? I know Brandon and I talked earlier. Jay White's showing up somewhere sometime. Does he show up here? Does he show up AEW?
I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises like that at Mania. I think the Raw after Mania could have a lot of people show back up. I just don't know. There will be some surprises at Mania, but I don't know.
So where's Switchblade show up?
Probably Monday night.
He's showing up somewhere, and that could be a next opponent.
Yeah, I think there will be some returns. I'm making my pick. Bye, Jeremy. I'm making my pick. I'm taking Roman. And the reason I'm taking Roman is because WWE is not going to let Roman Reigns lose after this, after they have put so much into him, carrying the company, being the face. They're not going to let him lose short of 1,000 days. Like that, they could say Roman Reigns reigned for more than 1,000 days.
So that's kind of like
Reigns is the best wrestler alive.
So that could be like the Pick'em Champs reign. It's pretty long. I could bring. So I think my count could be up to 1,000 days here before too long.
So, but they're not going to stop that title reign before 1,000 days. I don't think. I think Cody is the guy to do it. I think he takes it at SummerSlam. I think Solo somehow screws this up for Cody, interferes somehow without behind the ref's back. The rest. Here's another hot take. The ref's going to get knocked out at some point in this match.
How many referees are going to be in the match? How many refs?
Two refs. And both of them will get knocked out, and the first ref will count the 3 count. So
that's pretty typical WWE.
But I think Roman wins, but I do think he loses it at SummerSlam if he wins Sunday night.
All right, so we got 3-1 there on that last match.
It's all right. We the ones.
We the ones.
You the twos. Okay. We the ones.
Well, anybody got any final thoughts, or we kind of close out? Unless we lost Jeremy, and thanks to Jeremy for joining us.
Yeah,
he's going to join us back on episode 5. We'll have a wrap up of WrestleMania.
Brought some good conversation to the table. I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
I will say something. I was telling Brett this earlier when I saw him. I'm not looking. I mean, it's WrestleMania, so I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not looking forward to this WrestleMania as many because it's just. But that's why I think it may be good because I'm not excited. Like I'm not going to be let down. It's either going to raise me up or it's going to meet my low expectations. But after talking about tonight, I'm a little more excited now. Like
we're hyping it up between the 4 of us. Gets us all kind of hyped and ready. See how good we can predict. I think. Oh wait, we got Jeremy back.
There he is.
There he is.
I guess I was so worked up that I lost some power here, man. But anyway, no, I'm back, and I obviously missed out what you guys were talking about, but
we're just kind of giving some final thoughts of the Mania itself.
Man, I have a couple. We've talked about some of them. I think Cardona shows up. I think that Randy. If he's,
I'm just kidding.
Please don't let it be Zack Ryder.
That's the music is going to hit. Woo, woo, woo.
No, that I hope not. Is Orton healthy enough? I doubt it. Also, what about LA Knight? Right? I don't know if you guys mentioned LA Knight when I was gone.
Night.
Yeah. Surely Stone Cold's tired of that mess, right? Or they could be Orton. And what about Lashley?
He's going to be. He is in the. Was it
Andre the Giant
Battle Royal on Friday night?
On Friday.
Yeah, I would think him or Karrion Kross have to win that, right?
I think Karrion Kross probably wins that. I think LA Knight and Lashley may that may be a secret match that gets put on at Mania. Because Lashley was supposed to go against Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt got sick. So
Well, Brandon
Roman's
said
already
now that
gonna be
he's
there.
quit. Now, Brandon, did you?
Well, I mean, it could be a matter of both, but I know he walked out of a live show.
Yeah.
Well, if Vince is back, that explains it because
Yeah.
Vince is the one that killed everything he was trying to do anyway. Again, different story for a different day. But I think LA Knight, Bobby Lashley at Mania could be a match that's not on the card that takes place.
Should be a pitch black match again.
Oh no!
Now, this is a Hollywood.
As long as they hit, yeah, there you go, spotlight match. And the ultimate heel move, I say Cody wins on Sunday night at the end, and walks into Dynamite on Wednesday with the belt. Why not?
Oh man!
Why not?
And he could come out and be like, "I was playing them the whole time. I just wanted to steal their championship
with a sledgehammer."
Tony and the Bucks and Omega sitting on the stage just laughing. Shivani gets his revenge.
Oh man! Wow, that would be something.
It would be great. But I think it's going to be a good show overall. I think just a few matches will carry. There are some bad ones, and we've already hit on those. But I think that it's been fun to go back and watch some of the old Manias in the last couple of weeks, just to kind of reminisce and see some of the things they've done. And I'm excited about the Bloodline stuff and Cody and Roman. I think those are two very long payoffs that we're going to get, I think, maybe this weekend.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you joining us, Jeremy. Thanks for coming on. We're going to bring you back for next. We'll be back on Tuesday, next Tuesday night. Yeah, hey, go ahead, Kyle. Turn up the cheers for Jeremy. Cheers.
I'm only going to be back if my record's pretty good.
So you're like, are you from Hooks?
So yeah, you're a Hooks person.
Wow. Man, that got personal real quick. No, I'm not.
Do you know the story behind that?
But it's a good one apparently.
Yeah, because the Hooks people came on in the playoffs this year. We had our weekly wrap-up show. Kyle was joining us. He was covering that game. Hooks versus, who is it, Kyle?
Hominy.
And then all of a sudden they were picking Hooks, and then all of a sudden the next week they didn't show up. But they said they were going to come back even if they won or lost. And so they didn't come back after they didn't win their game.
Well, you have to be willing to come back and take it if you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of the stuff, if I'm wrong about, I'm willing to be wrong about. You know,
well, that's my thing. Like, just because I picked it doesn't mean I want it to happen.
It was like at least 6 times we said, I don't want this person to win, but I think they'll win.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me come on. It's been a blast. Brett, I've gotten to know you a little bit over the last few months with what you guys are doing on other platforms. But man, you guys are doing such a great job, and you get to be a part of this is amazing. And Kyle, to be on with you tonight, of course, Brandon. I get to talk to Brandon a lot, but man, if we can get on the what's my man. We just talked about it at the beginning of the show. What podcast we wanted to be on? The hold up.
Oh, that's so dope.
That's so dope.
Yeah,
he said, now, y'all, did y'all see this? Now, Corey responded back and said, we got to pick up some steam first. But he said, I'm not hated enough yet. So,
so he can get there, though. He's
already
got
he's hated on Wednesday nights because he's always picking like these random crazy picks. I mean, he gets all kinds of flack. I mean,
I think it depends on where you're at, where you're asking if he's hated or not, right?
Yeah, we've got some people we've got certain towns that we're not welcome.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Well, me and my man Corey, we can put a buffet or two out of business. But no, I'm glad to be on here and excited about being with you in the future. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, we appreciate it. That's going to do it for tonight's episode, Off the Ropes, episode 4. Remember, we will be back on for the review show on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Jeremy will be back with Kyle, Brandon, and myself. So for Kyle, Brandon, and Jeremy, I'm Brett. We'll catch you next time on Off the Ropes on the Disrespect Sports Network. Hope everybody enjoyed tonight's show. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.